G'day, Starlo here. I've talked to you a lot in previous episodes about targeting bream on soft plastics and hard-bodied lures, and I've made a couple of episodes devoted to those two different styles of lures. I'll put links to them down below and up here as well, but something that I probably need to talk more about is using vibes or blades to catch bream, because these things can be super effective at times. I particularly like them in slightly deeper water, anything from about 2.5 metres out to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 metres of water. You can catch bream on vibes. There's a couple of different styles and I'm going to throw a few around this afternoon. It's a beautiful mid-winter's afternoon. It was an icy cold morning, but it's really warmed up now. The sun's out. It won't stay warm for very long. It's very bright and clear, which might make it tough, but that's why I'm going to target the slightly deeper water and use the vibes. I'm going to use one of these little ZXs, and another style of vibe is the muss. Now I know a lot of you will be familiar with the muss. I was a little bit cynical about them when they first came out, but when I caught what is still my PB bream on my 5th cast with one of these, my 5th cast ever with a muss, I caught my PB bream. You can have a look at that episode as well. I'll put the link to that down below. So I lost my skepticism pretty quickly. Look, I haven't caught a lot of fish on the muss since then, and I haven't used it a lot, but interestingly, every time I have caught a fish on it, it's been a really good one. I have a bit of a hunch that only bigger bream with really powerful jaws reckon that they can crack through a mussel that size, so it tends to high grade for you and choose the bigger bream. Whereas this little blade that I've got on here, well, that could catch any sized bream. I'll just be happy to catch one, and I want to show you a few of the nuances of how to work these lures, because I reckon a lot of people don't get it quite right. So I'll fire up the outboard and we'll head out into some deeper water and do a bit of vibing. I always slip the lanyard of my kill switch on when I'm travelling. It's a good habit to get into, as is wearing a life jacket, especially when you're on your own. I reckon I'm going to need my Mako sunnies today too. That's better. I don't have far to go, and soon I cut the outboard and deploy the electric. So I'm out in about 3.5 metres of water here, and the bottom's reasonably clean. It's mud, silt, the odd patch of weed, and the odd stick, waterlogged branch or log lying on the bottom. And I know that bream could be spread anywhere through this area. I marked a few on the sounder. I didn't see any concentrations. And that's where vibes really come into their own. They're quite a good searching lure for covering a bit of water. And that's what I'm going to start off by doing. You'll notice I'm running my BFS gear, my bait finesse system, the little light bait caster. You can chuck vibes on any sort of tackle. Usually I use spin gear, but I'm having a bit too much fun with the BFS at the moment, so I'll stick with that to start with anyway. So I think that one of the mistakes that a lot of people make with vibes is working them too violently and energetically, particularly for bream. I like to get the lure out there, get it on the bottom, make absolutely sure that it's reached the bottom, watch the belly of line until you see it relax. It's on the bottom now, make contact with the lure, and then it's just little hops. You see a lot of people going rip, rip with the rod tip so that they can feel that feedback through the line. You should still get feedback even on a fairly gentle lift, and those little gentle hops are far more appealing to finesse species like bream. So don't work your vibe too energetically. Some days it will work to give it a good rip, but start off by just finessing it. Just lifting it probably only 20 or 30 centimetres off the bottom each time, just getting a little brizzt out of it and then dropping it back down again. And watching that belly of line, because you'll get pickups on the drop just like you do with soft plastics, and you'll see them as a distinct tick in the belly of line, and you need to set the hooks. Not too hard, because the little assist hooks that I've got on this one are sticky sharp, and they should pin the fish quite nicely without whacking it hard. But a lot of times you'll actually get that thump when you lift, when you give the little vibe hops like that, You'll feel the thump and it'll just load up on a fish. I love fishing vibes because the takes tend to be really positive. And I keep working it all the way back until it's quite close to the boat and you can get a hit at any stage. The first half of the retrieve is usually the most productive, but sometimes the fish will follow it right out and hit it almost straight up and down, particularly in deeper water. And then when I do get it to where I want to retrieve it, I just start with a bit of a slow roll off the bottom, give it a little bit of a bounce in mid-water, and then retrieve it up to the boat. And just keep doing that and you will catch fish. You'll notice that I regularly glance down at my sounder just to keep an eye on the depth, the bottom strata, and the presence of any bait or fish. But mostly I'm concentrating on making that vibe work as seductively as possible. You need to stay engaged and pay attention to what you're doing. Hits can come at any time. Ooh, that was a take. Didn't hook up. You won't pin them all, even on those assist hooks. That's fishing. Just got to assume the fish is still there and looking at it. So keep working it. He might have felt metal, that one. Will he come back? I'll try one more back into the same area. I'm really concentrating now, visualising a fish about to pounce on my fluttering little vibe. Come on. But it's not to be. Not this time. That's okay, there's plenty more water to work. What a gorgeous afternoon. It might actually be a bit too calm and still for good fishing, but it's perfect for me to teach you the tricks of vibing. So between each jig I'm actually letting that blade or vibe go back and sit on the bottom. It'll fall over on its side on the bottom. And it's amazing how often a fish will come over and nail it while it's lying there on the bottom. I only let it sit for just a fraction of a second between each lift, but it's also raising little puffs of mud down there and definitely triggering the curiosity and the aggression of any switched on fish. And you'll see that I can cover water pretty well with the vibe, and that's what I really like about them. So much as I love my plastics and I love my floating diving hard bodies, I will always make sure that I've got some vibes in my bream box, and you should too. They can just turn things around for you on some days, particularly in that deeper water. I'm going to give it a few more casts and head in before it gets dark. But let me show you a few more tricks of the trade first. You can use a single jig or a little double hop. I quite like the double hop, but some days the single jig works better. Single jig, double hop. Single jig, double hop. And you can see in that double hop I'm actually hitting it with the second hop before it gets back to the bottom. So it's a up, down, up, back onto the bottom motion. Pay close attention to exactly how I work the rod. It's all about keeping those hops as short and subdued as possible while still getting the lure to vibrate. And one of the big variations between really good vibes and average ones is how easily and quickly they start to vibrate on even a short, fairly slow hop. It really does make a difference. Single hop, double hop, single hop, double hop, single hop, double hop. Just mix it up and take note of which style of jig you actually hook the fish on the day, because it can vary, not just from day to day, but even from hour to hour and place to place in the system. In deeper water, you can work these vertically, straight up and down underneath the boat. I'm talking about water from sort of 5 to, well, as deep as you'd ever want to catch bream in. I'm only in 3 metres now. I've drifted into 3 metres of water. And I don't vibe much in shallower than about 2.5. Plenty of people catch fish on vibes in shallower water, but I prefer to switch to floating diving hard bodies or soft plastics in that shallower stuff. I reckon the vibes really shine out here in this deeper water, out in the paddock. Of course, it's not just bream that love them either. Silver trevally, snapper, flathead, tailor, salmon and dewies. I've caught more dewies on soft vibes and plastic vibes than I have on metal vibes, but they'll take both kinds. But it's big blue-nosed bream that they really shine on in our estuaries, as I'm going to show you pretty soon. Hang in there, it's worth the wait. Trust me. I'll tell you what's scary about using this BFS gear. Everyone tells you that it casts so much better with less line on the spool, and they're absolutely right. The minimum amount of line you can put on the spool, the better it casts. And I can't explain 100% why. It can't be just about the weight of the line, because that much braid doesn't weigh much at all. But if you keep it right down to a minimum, and I'm down to about 50 metres of line on here, and I reckon I'm casting 26, 28 metres. So when I finish a cast, you can see the spool through the line. Oh yeah, no, I probably only got another 10 or 12 metres of line left on the reel there. So you wouldn't want to hook anything that ran really hard. I'd be after it pretty quick on the electric if I did. That's living life dangerously. Oh, concentrate on what you're doing. That was a hit. Just a tap, but it was a fish. Oh, hit on the drop. That's a little bit unusual with the vibe up high in the water. It just shows you need to be ready for the take at any time. That would have only been in mid-water, dropping to the 3.2 metres to the bottom. Oh, this is a good fish. Oh, wow, what a run. This is a really good fish. I definitely can't rush this one. It's dictating the terms so far. Wow. Didn't think I was going to stop him. Then he was steaming back towards where I know there's a snag up there. Oh, he's doing it again. He's towing the boat. This is amazing. This fish is seriously pulling the nose of the boat around through the water. Really solid fish, this one. I'll back that drag off. Just a couple of clicks now that I know I've got him away from the bad stuff. My pulse rate's definitely up. Oh, I love fighting fish on this BFS gear, and I love that click drag. This is quite an unusual fight for a big bream. And it's not done yet. Wow. He will not give up. He's gone right around the boat. Just those little hooks on the vibe, so you can't go overboard with how hard you pull. There he is, it's a bream. Might be foul hooked. Check out the bend in that BFS rod. Oh, second lap of the boat. Oh, he's a solid fish. No, he's not foul hooked. He's perfectly hooked. Oh, that is so good. I wanted to show you the vibe working. And there you go. Oh, it's a solid fish, that one. That's a really solid fish. Ooh. Oh, there's some weight in that. My goodness. I mostly get black bream here, but I reckon this one has definitely got some yellowfin genetics. Oh, it is an absolute chunk. Wow. I'll be interested to put this one on the measuring mat. That is a mighty big bream. It's definitely got some yellowfin genetics in it, I reckon. In fact, it's probably a pure yellowfin that's just been in this landlocked system for quite a while, and it's darkened up, because that black V on the tail is very distinctive of a yellowfin bream, and this one looks like a yellowfin. Look at the size of that. There's the vibe. Look at that perfect hookup right there in the corner of the jaw. Only one of the hooks has gone in. Oh, I can't tell you how heavy this bream is. It'd be up around that 1.7 kilo mark at least, I reckon. I'll get a length on it in a second and let you know. Woo! Happy with that. Slide it onto the wet brag mat for a quick length measurement. Nose up hard against the end. Whoa, 48 centimetres to the tips of that big tail and nearly 43 to the fork. This one's worth weighing quickly in the net on my digital scales, which are bouncing between 1.8 and 1.84 kilos. A genuine 4-pounder. All right, it is time to get this beautiful big bream back in the water. Look at it. What a gorgeous fish. Wow. There is just no way I could bring myself to kill a bream like that. Especially not when it could easily be 20 to 30 years old. Too good to keep. Off you go, mate. That feels so good. Fantastic. I can't guarantee you'll pin a fish in that league if you give vibes a go, but I reckon you might be surprised at just how effective they are. Anyway, until next time, this is Starlo wishing you tight lines, and be sure to check out these other 2 Bream on Lures episodes. I reckon you'll like them. Cheers for now.